All right, it's 12 noon Eastern. So I wanted to start winning Wednesdays right on time. Your time is valuable, and my time is valuable. So I wanted to give it a minute before we jump into the topics I have in my notes. So before we do, I'm just going to give it a couple minutes for us to let everyone in. As you come in, let us know where you're from. Andrea, peace, Andrea. Detroit in the building. How's Detroit going? How's Detroit right now? Jen, peace, Jen. We got Cali in the building. LA, we got Detroit, Fort Lauderdale in the building. As I mentioned just a minute ago, we're going to give it a couple minutes before we jump in. We got El Haj. What's up, El Haj? North Carolina, I believe, in the building. Yeah, Cali stays in the building, man. I love it. I love it out there in Cali. Cali is very nice. Where else? Where else are we coming from? A couple of things in my notes today. I got about five or six things in my notes. I wanted to just give it a minute though. Jen, Cali in the building, Michigan in the building, North Carolina in the building, Florida in the building. Let's see where else. Let me make sure I'm doing this correctly here. All right, here we go. All right, cool. All right, yeah, we got all over the country on the call today. We got the Creator 33, Denver, Colorado in the building. What's it like out there in Denver? I've never been to Denver. I gotta make it out to Denver. It's not what is that? It's not Central Time. That's what, Mountain Time out there in Denver. 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern, I think, out there in Denver right now. All right, let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 current events I wanted to discuss today, and then we're going to get into some other topics as well. Okay, gorgeous. Yeah, mountainous out there in Colorado. All right, cool. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. Wednesdays, noon Eastern. We discuss current events in the stock market, mix in some current events, I might mix in I try to stay away from the option plays, but options is such a big topic in the community. I try to mix in 1 or 2 option plays for everyone. Also, what else I got in here? I try to leave some time for some Q&A. I try to leave some time for some ticker lookups. I know you guys are invested in various tickers, so let's leave some time for looking up tickers. I wanted to review what's going on in the market today. So maybe we start off with that. Maybe we'll start off with that. Let's get right to it. Let me share my screen here. Share screen. All right. So you probably know market looks like it's rebounded somewhat so far today. Let's see here. You guys can see that, right? Okay, so let me switch the view. All right, so this is my trading view, screen. I just keep track of. I don't really, even though I have several tickers there on the right-hand side, I don't really keep track of all of them. I really keep track of maybe 8 to 10 tickers, really, on a regular basis. But this way, on this view, I could keep track of more than a few tickers, more than the 8 or 10 tickers I track. So it just gives me a quick summary of what's going on in the market. So let's get right to it, man. Let's get right to it. Well, earlier this morning, it's 12 noon Eastern where I am, but right after market open, it was mostly green. All the indexes were green. Mega caps were green. Earlier, a couple hours ago, the only red ticker that I noticed was Eli Lilly, currently at 693, down about 4.5% today. Earlier it was all green except for Eli Lilly, but things have reversed just slightly since this morning. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so that's a live look at the market. S&P slightly down. What else we got? Nasdaq slightly up. A couple of mega caps. I wanted to talk about Apple today. What's going on with Apple recently? Currently at 178. What else? Amazon 170, just slightly down. BTC currently at 77 USD, 77,000 USD. Ethereum's currently at 1,400. I know Ethereum's scaled back recently. That's a live look at the market right there. So we can circle back to this later in the hour. But as of right now, that's where things stand. So there's a couple. Let me stop sharing that screen. Stop sharing. There's a couple major news events I wanted to discuss. I have in my notes here. So let's get right to it. Few articles in the news I wanted to go over. All right, let me share my screen here. I'm gonna share my Yahoo Finance screen. There's a couple articles I wanted to talk about. Share screen. Here we go. Yahoo Finance. All right, you guys can see that, right? All right. So before I continue, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me and see me all right. Jen, I'm going to circle back to your question in a little bit. I'm going to circle back to you. I just want to make sure the audio is good and the visual is good. The video is good. I don't want to do what I did a few weeks ago and screw up the entire meeting. So you guys can just drop a yes in the chat if you can hear me and see me all right. I just want to make sure before we continue. All right. All right, let me pull up this article right here. All right, hopefully you guys can see my Yahoo Finance. All right, okay, cool. Thanks, Andrea. All right, first article I want to discuss was Trump's tariffs. Top article on Yahoo Finance this morning. Let's just skim through it. I want to skim through a couple of these articles and then get to some other topics in my notes. All right, let's see what's going on with these tariffs. Let me pause that video. All right, let's see the headline. Okay, be cool. Trump assures Americans things will work out as markets reel from the tariff shocks. All right, so Trump's saying to chill out. President Trump on Wednesday attempted to calm some nerves as his controversial tariff policies continue to shake the markets with his sweeping reciprocal duties on some 185 countries officially in effect. I'm not a expert in geography, but how many countries are there in the world? Is it 200 and change? I'm not sure. I think it's about 210 or 205 or 210, something like that. And of those 200 and change, 185, he's got tariffs on 185 of them. All right, so let's see what he says. Okay, so he goes on to say, be cool. Trump wrote in a post on his social media platform, Truth Social. Everything is going to work out. The U.S. will be bigger and better than ever before. All right, let's see what else is. Stocks were working to bounce back early Wednesday after a brutal sell-off that's threatened to send the S&P into bear market territory. I believe it did dip into bear market either yesterday or Monday, and then it rebounded slightly since then. In the Treasury market, the 10-year yield logged its biggest three-day jump since December 2001, raising alarms across Wall Street about further risks lurking in the global financial system. All right, let's see what else he says. On Wednesday, China announced retaliatory tariffs on 84% of the U.S. imports after Trump administration delivered on its threat to impose 104% duties on its exports to the U.S. All right, so they're playing economic chicken back and forth, it looks like. In a follow-up post on Wednesday, Trump said the market created a great opportunity to buy. Yes, this is true. I agree with this. I'm going to actually get into some tickers that I like at current prices later this meeting. So stay tuned for that. Let's see here. Great time to buy. Okay. Some strategists have urged a dip below 5,000 for the S&P could be a buy signal, with the index coming off one of the worst two-day stretches on record last Thursday and Friday. All right. So this is a quick. You could read through the rest of this article on your own. I just wanted to touch on the main points of this article right here. All right. So that's what's going on with Trump and the tariffs as of this morning. All right. Let's see what else. We got a comment here. Let's see here. Let me remove that one. Andrew says, people. What Andrew's saying here. People gathered at most major some minor state capitals in a showing of disagreement. Yep, I saw that. For DJT's business model methods. I saw that they were protesting in Boston, I believe. I remember seeing Boston for sure. Probably some other cities around the country as well. All right, let's see what else we got. Let me go back to Yahoo Finance and see if there's anything else I wanted to discuss here. Okay, water. All right, this is a key article I wanted to just brief over. Let me share my screen again. Add that to the stage. Okay, so this one right here about Amazon. Let me see here. I wanted to just go over this one quickly. All right, let's see what this says here. Amazon cancels some inventory orders from China after tariffs. All right, so I'm a shareholder in Amazon. I'm also a Prime subscriber. So this directly impacts me. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to go over this article. This is an article from Bloomberg. Amazon has canceled orders for multiple products made in China and other Asian countries, according to a document reviewed by Bloomberg and people familiar with the matter, suggesting the company is reducing exposure to tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump. All right. The orders for beach chairs, scooters, air conditions, and other merchandise from multiple Amazon vendors were halted after Trump's April 2nd announcement that he planned to levy tariffs on more than 180 countries and territories, including China, Vietnam, and Thailand. All right, so I mean, this guy's hitting almost everyone with tariffs. A lot of these countries, the majority of these countries with tariffs. The timing of the cancellation, which had no warning, led to vendors to suspect it was a response to the tariffs. Okay. All right, let's see. Amazon spokesperson declined to comment. Company identified international trade deputies as a risk factor in its annual report released February. China-based suppliers provide significant portions of our components and finished goods, the company said. Amazon's currently at 171. All right, so you can read through the rest of this article. But I wanted to go over this article because I know some of you are either Prime members or are owners of Amazon. So there's a couple main articles. You can read some of that in more detail if you want to. All right. I wanted to share a couple interesting articles I saw on CNN Business. Let me pull up CNN Business right quick. This may affect you as well. This affects me directly. So let's see here. I want to share this. There's a couple of things I wanted to discuss about Apple. And this is the first one right here. Let me share my screen. Let me add that to stage. No, that's the wrong one. Present. Share my screen. There's a interesting article from CNN Business. Share my screen here. Here we go. All right, let's see here. All right, so here's some of the main articles today from CNN Business. I wanted to discuss this one in particular. iPhone could triple in price to $3,500 if they're made in the U.S. So there's a couple things I wanted to discuss with Apple today. Here's one of them. I have an iPhone. I've had an iPhone for several years, so I'm actually looking to trade in my old phone for a newer phone. So this article caught my eye this morning. Let's see what it says. U.S. President Donald Trump has boasted jobs and factories will be coming roaring back as he unleashed unprecedented tariffs around the world during his Liberation Day address. That was last week, Wednesday, I believe. with his sweeping, let me get my screen correct here. With his sweeping global tariffs now in effect, steep price hikes on products ranging from clothing to electronics could largely be borne by American consumers. Now, a prominent tech analyst has warned that the price of an Apple iPhone could soar to around $3,500 if they were made in the U.S. Now, let's pause right there for a second. Even if all the manufacturing is held in-house here in the United States, I mean, how long is this going to take? Assuming that Apple stops manufacturing overseas and starts manufacturing here in the U.S., how long is this going to take? I mean, that's a year project, right? Multiple year project for these factories and all the infrastructure to be built. Maybe I'm wrong. The president and his economic officials have promised that as a result of tariffs, numerous manufacturing jobs will eventually be reshored to the U.S. Manufacturing jobs will eventually be restored to the U.S., employing millions of Americans. Now, listen, I'm no economist. I just can think for myself. So when I read something like this, even if these jobs are reshored back here to the United States, how long is this going to take? I mean, this is not an overnight venture from from what I can gather. This is not going to happen overnight or next week or not next month even. All right, so let's see what else it says here. Let's scroll down a little bit. U.S.-made iPhones could cost more than 3 times their current price of around $1,000. He added, because it would be necessary to replicate the highly complex production ecosystem that currently exists in Asia. So, I mean, even how long would that take? What kind of capital outlay would Apple have to incur for this to happen? I know Apple's sitting on all kinds of crazy cash, but even if they did want to do this, how long would this take? How much would it cost? Would it be worthwhile? You build that supply chain in the U.S. with a fab in West Virginia and New Jersey. They'll be around $3,500 iPhones, he said, referring to fabrication plants or high-tech manufacturing facilities where computer chips that power electronic devices are normally made. Okay, here we go. And even then, it would cost Apple about $30 billion. I mean, $30 billion to me is a crazy number. $30 billion to Apple might not be such a crazy number. And 3 years to move just 10% of their supply chain to the United States. If I'm Tim Cook, if I'm Apple executive, I got to ask myself, I got to ask my company, is this worthwhile for us? Or is it better just to pay the tariffs and keep it moving? All right, let's see what else it says here. Okay. Since Trump's inauguration late January, Apple shares have lost around 25% of their value. All right, let's pause right there. I want to pull up, okay, you can read the rest of this article on your own. I want to pull up Apple's chart. So let's pull up Apple's chart. I wanted to discuss this for a couple. Let's see here. Let me share my screen on let me share my, let's go back to TradingView. Let's take a look at Apple's chart. Let's see here. All right, let's pull up Apple. Okay, currently at 180, up about 4.5% today, even at 180. Let's look at this chart right there. All right, you can see the chart, hopefully. Okay, so let's look at year to date, January through present day. Not too good. Back in the beginning of the year, Apple was up near 240, 250, and it's currently at 180. So that's year to date, right? That's year to date. Last 6 months, 6 months ago, back in October, currently at was back about 230 back then, currently at 180. All right, so let's zoom out 5 year. That's the 5-year chart, and that's the all-time chart right there. So even if you can see that little red there in the upper right corner, you can see Apple's pulled back a lot, especially this calendar year. All right, so that's one of the things I wanted to mention. Apple, about the iPhone, maybe going up to $3,500 per iPhone. I mean, if you thought $1,000 was expensive for a cell phone, imagine 3,500. So that was the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing I wanted to mention with Apple is its chart, its year-to-date chart. And the third thing I wanted to mention about Apple is this article right here. Let me share my screen. Andrew says dead cat bounce. Didn't it bounce? Let's see. Add myself back to the stage here. Who knows, right? We don't know for sure. We don't know if this is good observation, but we don't know if that's a dead cat bounce or not, or if it's just reversing. Okay, here's the third thing I wanted to mention about Apple. Let me go over this article I found from Seeking Alpha. I might have not mentioned Seeking Alpha in the past, but Seeking Alpha is a good resource I use. Let me share my screen here. This is the third thing Apple related I wanted to discuss. Share screen right here. Share. All right, so this is an article current as of yesterday. All right, so this is related to Apple as well. So this is the third thing I wanted to mention. Microsoft reclaims the title of world's most valuable public company after Apple sell-off. All right, I'm also a shareholder in Microsoft, so this impacts me directly. This may also impact you directly. So let's go over this article and see what it says. Microsoft has reclaimed the title of the world's most valuable publicly listed company, following Apple's 4-day losing streak amid the broader stock market meltdown in the aftermath of President Donald Trump's sweep in tariffs. Current market cap of Microsoft stood at $2.6 trillion as of Tuesday's close, while that of Apple totaled 2.59. So these companies are pretty much neck and neck for most valuable company in the world. Nvidia's up there too. Those are pretty much the top three. But as of this article, yesterday close, Microsoft's 1, Apple's 2. While Microsoft's shares have fallen 7% over the last 4 trading sessions, Apple saw a steeper decline of 23% in the same period. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite fell 13% since Trump announced his tariff plan. All right, so this is another thing I wanted to mention. Let's see what else it says. This is because of iPhone makers' reliance on China for a significant portion of its manufacturing needs. So Apple's got a decision to make in the near future. What do they do? What's their course of action moving forward? It also manufactures devices in other countries facing higher tariff rates, including India, Vietnam, and Brazil. Jefferies analyst in a recent note said Microsoft is more insulated from, so here's a key point right here, is more insulated from macro pressures and continues to view the stock as the safest large cap investment option. So this is according to this guy right here. Microsoft briefly held the title of most valuable public company early last year, but has since been overtaken by Apple and Nvidia, which is now number 3 with a market cap of 2.35. Okay, so as of close yesterday, Microsoft market cap 2.64, Apple 2.59, and Nvidia 2.35 trillion. All right, so this is another thing I wanted to mention, another current event I wanted to mention. So what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Three things that affected Apple. If you're a shareholder in Apple, if you're a shareholder in the S&P or NASDAQ, that will directly impact you. Let's see what Andrew says. Seeking Alpha used to be my go-to when I use TradingView. Now, Unusual Whale fills my feed. Okay, cool. There's several good resources, financial resources. All right, so there's some of the current events. I also wanted to mention this Friday. A lot of the major financial institutions report. JP Morgan reports. Morgan Stanley reports, Wells Fargo reports, and BlackRock reports. So that's this Friday. So that's this Friday. Some of the major financial institutions report this Friday, including J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, and BlackRock. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. All right. So I'm just going through things I have in my notes here. And one of the things I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention in past meetings is the difference between these indexes. Let me go back to TradingView right quick. Let's see here. Let me present and let me go back to TradingView. I wanted to discuss briefly the differences of some of these indexes. All right, so there's several major indexes in the U.S. stock market. I wanted to actually not share that screen. I wanted to share my AI screen. I literally asked AI. I'm gonna share this screen and show you what I asked AI. I literally went to Grok and asked them. I'm gonna show you what I asked them. All right, you guys can see that, right? Okay, so hopefully you can see my X screen here. I literally asked AI, what are the differences between the U.S. stock market indices? So here, I think it gave me seven main differences. I think it was 7. So let's just talk about them brief. 6 main differences. Let's just go through them quickly. Okay, so just to recap, what are the differences between the U.S. stock market indices? Major differences. What are the differences between the U.S. stock market indices? All right, so first one, number of companies. Dow Jones above 30 tracks 30 large, well-established U.S. companies, often referred to as blue chip. I believe Walmart's in there, Coke's in there. I think Amazon was added to the Dow Jones recently. So that's one difference right there. Number of companies. Dow Jones only above 30. You may know this one's one of the most popular ones right here, S&P 500. 500 companies, largest company publicly traded in the U.S., offering a broader snapshot of the market. Okay, so that's Dow Jones there, S&P there, and then NASDAQ here. Covers over 3,000 stocks listed on the NASDAQ exchange, ranging from large to small companies, including many international firms. All right, so that's the first difference between the indices. Here's another major difference, a weighting methodology. DJI, price weighted, meaning stocks are higher share prices have a greater influence on the index. All right, total is divided by Dow divisor. Okay, so basically the higher priced stocks are more heavily weighted in the Dow Jones. S&P market capped weighted. The bigger companies hold a larger allocation. And NASDAQ also market weighted, but so larger companies like Apple, Microsoft dominate. It's more tech based. It's like really a sample size of the S&P. All right, so that's a second major difference right there. Sector focus is a third major difference. Historically tied to industrial firms, Dow Jones. S&P represents a wide range of industries. I believe it allocates to all 11 sectors of the economy, with significant weight in each tech, finance, healthcare, consumer goods, and NASDAQ heavily skewed toward tech. All right, so about 50 to 60% of its weight. All right, so that's a third difference. Fourth difference, market coverage. Dow Jones focused on large cap, S&P total stock market, and NASDAQ, like we said a minute ago, encompasses all stocks. Oh, I thought they were going to say they mentioned this tech heavy. Oh yeah, it does mention this tech heavy. Handful of mega cap techs. All right, so market coverage is the fourth difference. Fifth, purpose and perception. Fifth, volatility and risk. So you can read through the rest of this in Grok. I just literally asked it, what are the differences between the U.S. stock market indices? So you can read about that a little bit more on your own. All right, let me stop sharing that. Let me go back to the chat. All right, let's see here. Nonfiction 12. I feel earnings report will be mostly positive since they reflect past pre-tariff performance. Okay, causing a market rise. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully that happens. I mean, J.P. Morgan's. I think J.P. Morgan. It's not the biggest bank in the world. Some of those Asian banks are bigger than J.P. Morgan, but J.P. Morgan's, I believe, in the top 5 or 6 biggest banks in the world. Biggest bank in the U.S. for sure. So whatever J.P. Morgan. I believe Wells Fargo is in that conversation too. I believe they're top 10 or top 12 banks, biggest banks in the world. So, and then BlackRock, I believe, is one. If not, I believe it's the largest asset management company in the world. If not the largest, the second largest. I know it's up there. So, I mean, those financial institutions are definitely market makers, market movers. Excuse me. All right. So we discussed some of the differences in the indexes. Okay, so there's a few things also I wanted to go through. Talked about that. Microsoft overtook Apple just yesterday as the biggest company in the world. All right. Any comments or questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat. I wanted to mention before I forget, for anyone that's on this call or any of the other classes, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to have a side hustle training. Anyone interested in learning about my top side hustles the last 20 years, join in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to review my top side hustles I've used over the years. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to drop in the chat the detail of that meeting tomorrow night. So if that's of interest to you, check that out. Let me put it in like that. So that'll be tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. My top 8 side hustles. All right. Let's see what else. Am I missing some of the comments? Let's see here. Okay, so it doesn't look like I'm missing too much on the chat. Okay. Let's see what else we got on the notes here. I always want to leave some time for some ticker lookups. I know you guys like investing in different companies. If you guys want any tickers, want to look up any tickers, drop them in the chat. We'll look them up. We can look them up together. I know that's popular amongst the community. While you guys do that, I'm going to give you tickers I like at current prices. Let me share my screen here. Let me share this screen right here. Present. Share screen. Let's go back to trading view. All right, hopefully you can see that. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of tickers I like at current price. Let's see here. Okay, well, I got to start off with Apple. 179, it's up $7 today. So earlier this morning was up, or yesterday at close, 172. This morning, 172, 173. I like that one at current price, 179. Still a monster, still a conglomerate. Even with those tariff headlines, I still like Apple long term. Apple knows how to make money. So I like Apple at 179. What else do I like? I like Amazon at 172. Another one I like. So those two for sure. I got my on at those prices: 172 Amazon and 179 Apple. Both of those were up near 240, 250 not too long ago. So if I like them at 240, 230, 240, I should really like them at 172, 179. Those are a couple tickers I like at current price. Also like Tesla, actually, right there at the bottom. Let's see, Tesla. And then Tesla was up 5% today. So currently at 233. I like that one. Even at 233, even after the 5% jump today, I like that ticker at 233. Okay, here we go. I got a question from Jen. I think I missed it earlier. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me remove that. Let me go back to the comments. All right, here we go. Okay, Jen asks, are your tickers for options or for holdings? Those three I just mentioned. Apple would be for a long-term hold. Amazon would be for a long-term hold. But Tesla would be a good option play. Tesla is very liquid, and if you look at its option chain, provides good return. So Apple long-term hold, Amazon long-term hold, Tesla option play. Andrea says VST and VTR. Okay, let's look up those two. What's VST and VRT? I've never heard of those two. Let's go to Yahoo Finance here. All right, let me go back to let me find Yahoo Finance here. All right, so it was what was it? It was VST. So VST. Let me share my screen and let's look up VST. Present. All right, VST. All right. Victor Sam Thomas is Vistra Corporation. All right, never heard of this company. Let's see. Let me share my screen like that. All right, let's look up what sector is this company in? Utilities. All right, so let's take a look at. All right, currently at 101. Back when was this? Back in okay, so is that April 9th right there? So this is okay. Let me go to the 5-day chart and see what's going on with the 5-day. Okay, so 5-day down slightly. What was that? Or actually, 5-day down 20%. 1 month down 11%. 6 month down 18%. Year to date down a quarter 25%, 26%. All right. So what was the all-time high back in? When is this? This was okay back in January, not too long ago. All right, so it's bottomed out since then. Okay, so let's look at this here, right? Well, it was back about 192 back in January, and it's almost half of that right now. So VST, Vistra Corporation, in the utility sector. All right, VRT. Let's look at that one. VRT, Vertiv Holdings. All right, let's take a look at this one. What sector is this one in? Industrials. Okay, so let's see what's going on with this one. 5-day down, 1 month down, 6 month down a lot, 40%. Year to date down. Okay, so these ones are not looking too good. These couple companies is not looking too good. Vertiv Holdings. Okay, all right. Long term. Okay, so Andrea says long term holds for my watch list. Okay, I got it. So you're let me see what Andrea. So you're buying puts, is that right? On these tickers. Right. If you're into the options game, buying puts is a form of insurance. So if you own these stocks, buying a put, the value of that put will increase as the ticker decreases. Actually, this is a problem I've ran into myself here. I gotta find some no money. Andrea says no money. So actually, this was actually one of the driving forces of tomorrow night's training, the side hustle training. So this is a cure. I know many of you have deployed much of your capital already. So me too. So we're going to discuss ways to get more money tomorrow night. business model. Okay, so which one are we talking about? Business. Vertiv. So tell us about the business model of Vertiv and Vistra. I'm not familiar with those companies. Yep, exactly. Buy the dip with what, right? So we're going to discuss how to generate cash flow on our own tomorrow night. So tune in if that's of value to you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're gonna discuss ways we can cash flow directly without middlemen. So if there's any other comments or questions, drop them in the chat. Ticker lookup, any other tickers you guys want to look up? Gave you a few tickers I like at current prices: Apple, Amazon, and Tesla. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so now the market's been really choppy recently, right? So I just looked at my trading view. Let me stop sharing that actually. Okay. I mean, this morning, right after open, it was green. Later on in the day, it was red, or a mix of red and green. And now I just looked at the market again, and now it's mostly green. The only ticker that I follow that I see red on is Eli Lilly, currently at 691, down about 5% to 691. So I like to see green. But the real investor is a master of their own psychology, right? The real investor can master self-psychology. They're disciplined, they're patient, they stick to their strategy. They're not a pinball, right? They don't get bounced around. They don't get bounced around by tariffs, bounced around by DeepSeek, bounced around by recession talk, bounced around by this, bounced around by that. But the real investor stays cool, calm, and collected. They're not a pinball. TSM. Okay, let's take a look at TSM. One of the biggest companies in the world. TSM is actually one of the most key companies in the world. Let's take a look at what's going on with TSM. All right, TSM. All right, let's share that screen. All right, let's look at TSM's chart. Okay, TSM currently at 139. 5 day down a lot. Wow, down almost 20% in 5 days. 1 month down 21%. 6 months. Wow, 6 months down 25%. Let's go to the all-time chart. Let's see if we can see on the all-time. Okay, so look, there's the all-time chart right there. Let me see if I can X that. All right, so there's the all-time chart. Peaked. It looks like it topped out back in January at over 200, 203, 204. Currently at 139. So it's pulled back a lot. Year to date, it's pulled back 30% since January. So a very large company, one of the top companies in the world by market cap. I believe it's in the top 10 or top 12. One of the biggest companies in the world, TSM, currently at 139. All right. What else we got? Alibaba, Asians, Amazon, MicroStrategy going. Let's see. I do track MicroStrategy. Let's see what's going on with MicroStrategy. MSTR. Michael Saylor stays buying Bitcoin. So let me go back to Yahoo Finance. Okay, so it's up about almost 6% today, currently at 251. Let's go through some of the 5 day. Wow, 5 day down 20%, 1 month down 12.5%, 6 months up 30%, 32%. Year to date down 13%, 1 year down up 1 year though up 75%. 5 year chart up crazy, all time chart up even crazier. Okay, so Andrew asked about MELI. What company is that? Mercado Libre. Is that a publicly traded company on the U.S. Exchanges, U.S. Indices? MELI. All right, let's take a look. MELI. MELI. Okay, so it is. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, $1,800 a share. What sector are they? Okay, consumer cyclical. Consumer cyclical. All right, let me see if I can find a summary of what they do. What do they do? Does it tell us what they do here? Maybe if I click this right here. Okay. Operates online commerce platforms in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, and internationally. The company operates marketplace online commerce platform that can be accessed through mobile app. Okay. Financial tech, a solution platform. Okay. All right, cool. All right, let's see what's going on with their chart. Pretty much flat today. Down 6% last week, down 10%, 11% year to date. Year to date, though, they're up about 7%. 1 year up 21%, 5 year up a lot, all time up even more. Okay, up all time 8,100%, 8,200%. Currently at 1816. I never heard of that company. All right, it's a company to keep an eye on. Yeah, Mexican Amazon. Yeah. All right, let's see what nonfiction has. Let's go back to the comments here. Let me stop sharing. Let me pull myself up. All right, let's discuss this comment or question right here. Praying about whether or not I should pull equity out of my rental property to run strangle strategy and generate more income. Are you still running this strategy? Why or why not? Praying about whether I should pull equity. Okay, so whether you should pull equity out of your property or not depends on if you have a business model. You know the potential interest rate. If you do take a HELOC on your property or your rental property, you will know what the interest rate is. Just assume it's 8%. So the answer to whether you should pull or not pull is: do you have a business model to generate higher than 8%? That's pretty much the basics of it. Should I pull equity out of my rental property to run strangle strategy and generate more income? Do you have a business model that will generate more than the interest paid? Are you still running the strategy? Absolutely. Why or why not? It's very simple. There's no emotion in this. There's no feelings in this. It's very straightforward. Assume your interest rate is 8%. You're going to have to pay 8%. Do you have a business model that'll generate, say, 20%, 25%, 30%, where you can pay back the 8%, no problem, and keep the difference? There's no emotion in that, right? It's really a matter of yes or no. Do you have a business model that will generate you more than the interest paid? It's all mathematics, all economics, no emotion, no feelings. Okay, so that's my short answer to that question. Praying about whether I should pull equity out of my rental property. Also, do the math on that before you reach out to a potential lender. What you could do here is, the market value of the property, how much you owe on the property, how much equity on, the difference. The difference will be the equity. Here's a rough calculation. Just say your rental property is worth $250,000, and you owe $100,000 on the mortgage. So that 150% is the equity, right? The difference between market value and what you owe. So some quick math would be: take that 150, multiply it by 70%. That's a rough estimate of what you can pull out of your rental property or your primary. And then the question is, we circle back to the main question, whether we should do this or not. Do you have a business model that will generate more in return than you'll pay out? Will your cash inflow exceed your cash outflow? It's really that simple. That's a great question, actually. Why or why not? Do I do that? Absolutely. Why? Because I have a business model that generates me more than my interest paid out. My cash flow in exceeds my cash flow out. No emotion. Great question. Great question. Yeah, this is all mathematics, all economics. That's a really good question. Comment right there, and I do currently do that. And I've been doing that for many years now, several years. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? Here's the bottom line to that question. Let me pull up that question one more time. But of course, you're chief executive of your life, you're chief executive of your portfolio, you're chief executive of all your investments. You're going to do, you're going to perform your own analysis and come to your own conclusions, right? If you wanted to go through the exact math on that, I just gave you a quick overview of the math behind that. Feel free to book a consult with me. I'll walk you through the exact math of that, and we can get a yes or no, a more definitive yes or no question answer to that question. Yeah, that's a great question. That equity in the walls of your primary of your rentals is dead money, right? We got to put that money to use. I'm sure you worked hard for that capital. Make sure that capital works for you, works hard for you. And if you're interested, check me out on my website, errolcmango.com. I take consults. I do paid consults, and I also do free 15-minute consults. But if you do book a free 15-minute consult with me, be on time, be prepared. I don't mind you wasting your time. I do mind you wasting my time. So if you do book a free consult with me, be on time, be prepared. Take this seriously. Your life is serious. Your outcomes are serious. My time is valuable. I got none to waste. I wasted too much time already. All right. Any other comments, questions? Any comments or questions? Let me just overview the market before we wrap. TSM just down slightly to 139. Mega caps, I see all green. All the indexes I see are green. Bitcoin currently at just under 78,000 USD. What else we got? All right, so that's where current market is as of 12:52 p.m. Eastern. Any other things you guys want to discuss? Drop them in the chat. Again, this class meets Wednesdays, noon Eastern. We usually go 1 hour. I do have a side hustle training tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's see what else we got. XRP. XRP is a crypto, so let me make sure that Yahoo Finance does have it. Yes, it does. All right, let's see what XRP is looking like. I actually haven't looked at XRP in a couple weeks, so let's see what's going on with XRP. Here's XRP. Okay, 185 currently. Pretty much flat today. Let's see. Okay, so last 5 days. What day is this right here? 4/7. What day was 4/7? 4/7 was on Monday. So it looks like it bottomed out on Monday at 166 and has rebounded since then. 1 month down 13%. I mean, if you liked XRP not too long ago, back in February, or what is this here? February or January, February, at $2, over $2, then you should really like it at 185. XRP, one of the more popular cryptos. ADA, Cardano. Let's take a look at Cardano. I do have some Cardano. I haven't tracked Cardano in a while, so this is a good exercise for me too. Let's see here. Cardano currently at 57 cents. Cardano at 57 cents. Last 5 days, down 12%, down 20% last month. 6 months up. Okay, 6 months it's blown up 70%. Year to date, though, it's flopped. 1 year down just slightly. 5 years up crazy. All time up crazy. All right, so that's Cardano. Let me stop sharing there. check the comments one more time. All right, so let's see here. If you had to, let me put up the. If Jen asks, if you had to pick one ticker, which would you select? That's a good question. Now, one ticker I would select moving forward the next 400 years would be. It's between the SPY and the triple Qs, but I would lean towards the triple Qs. If I had to pick one ticker, I'd take the top 100 biggest tech companies. And the reason I say that is tech moves the world, and any underperforming company would be substituted out eventually. If just say Adobe, I'm pretty sure, I think Adobe's in there. I forget the allocation in triple Q, but just imagine Adobe flopped and they started underperforming. Eventually, they would be substituted out for a better performer. So, answer your question. I'll pick triple Q, the Nasdaq, the Nasdaq index. Andrea says I have both puts. I have both plus HBAR. So we're talking about VSTR, was it? I have both plus H. What is HBAR? I'm not familiar with that one. HBAR. What company is that? Okay, so Andrew says triple Q versus T triple Q preference. What's the T triple Q? Is that the inverse of the triple Q? I believe that's the inverse, is it? T. Let me look it up right quick. ProShares Ultra. Oh, okay, it's triple Q on steroids. HGH, TRT, and horse tranquilizer. Is that what it is? Triple Q on this. The fund invests in financial instruments that ProShares advisors believes in combination should produce daily returns consistent with the daily target. Okay, so let's see. What the index includes 100 of the largest domestic and international non-financial companies listed. From my blood, from my risk tolerance, I say triple Q is just volatile enough for me. I don't want any. If I was to had to pick one and stick with that one the next 400 years, I would pick the triple Q over the T triple Q because triple Q is volatile enough for me. It fits my risk tolerance, in other words. Crypto, okay. All right. One more time, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you want to talk to me directly, feel free to book me at my website, errolcmango.com. Check me out there. You guys can book a consult with me. Just a quick reminder. And this class meets every Wednesday, noon Eastern. We go about 1 hour. Today we discussed current events in the stock market, Trump's tariffs, what's going on with Apple, Microsoft overtaking Apple as the largest company in the world. We discussed, we reviewed the differences between some of these indexes. We talked, what else did we talk about? We looked at a current market, took a few questions, looked up a few tickers also. So this is the plan for this class moving forward. Same idea. We're going to discuss current events, earnings reports, any news articles affecting the market, what's going on in the current market, any market moving event. So that's the plan for this class. Okay, Andrea says that HBAR is Hedera. Okay, I never heard of Hedera. Yeah, so Andrea, where are you? I mean, you're doing some kind of deep analysis. I never heard a lot of these companies you rock with. So this replay of today's meeting will be available on YouTube shortly after. Again, tomorrow night, check out my top 8 side hustles I've used the last 20 years to build my wealth. And we're going to discuss some other side hustles that you guys use, common side hustles in the streets. But I wanted to focus on 8 that I've used myself. So that's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be live on YouTube. So check that out if that'll be a value add to you. Any final comments, questions in the chat? Please drop them in the chat before we wrap. Let me check the market one time real quick. All green. Bitcoin currently at 78,250. They just crossed over 78 a few minutes ago. Currently at 78,259. So crypto looks like it's rebounded slightly today. Let's see what else we got going. Yeah, every mega cap, all the indices are green. A lot of the option plays you guys run, I know some of the tickers you guys like running plays on are also green. TSM 139, almost 140. All good. Thank you for joining. Hopefully we see you tomorrow night. If we don't see you tomorrow night, we'll see you again Wednesday, noon Eastern. Any final comments or questions, please drop them in. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next Wednesday. All right, I don't see anything else in the chat. Check you out next Wednesday. Go get what you deserve, build your wealth, cut out all middlemen, go straight to the cash flow. We're going to talk about more of that tomorrow night. Peace, everyone. Check you out tomorrow.